Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my videos. I've been away for a little bit. I had like a huge health scare, which kind of, I don't know, just scared me a little bit. I had to go through some medical stuff. Turned out to be absolutely nothing. But it scared me enough that I decided to take it easy for a little bit. Mentally that can kind of, really kill the mood. So I've been away for a little bit, but I'm back. This time I'll be doing an unboxing again, like I got this package in the mail yesterday. Spoiler alert. It's a package from, let's see if you guys can pick it up, Thailand. So you guys can guess where, what it's going to be. For this, I'm just gonna unbox it, see how it comes out of the package, do some parts review, do a little bit of an overview, and hopefully I could do also kind of assemble it a little bit. Obviously it's way too many parts to just stick it, assemble it in its entirety, but I'll do my best. So stick with me while I unbox this highly recognizable box. And for the guys that watch this channel, the guys who are fellow collectors of Predator sculptures, you guys know what's up. You guys know, you guys probably recognize where this package came from. But yeah, very excited. Took me a little bit to get it. I had to save up some money. Wasn't very cheap. Wasn't really that expensive either, but if you're a collector, the money is always worth it. But I had to put away some money for a couple of months to get it paid off completely. That's just how it goes. But shipping was expensive. It's a fairly large box, as you can see. So shipping was expensive. Right off the bat, I can see that, spoiler alert, Narin did an excellent job packing it. Hopefully nothing's broken. But from what I can tell so far, he does an excellent job packing this stuff. Wow, this is probably the base. Let's start with the base because it's the biggest part, and put away the box for a little bit. This sculpture is highly detailed. It's one of, I think, one of the more elaborate, elaborate sculptures that he's ever done, pose wise. But there's another one out there called the King and Queen, the King and Queen Predator sculpture by Narin, which is also very elaborate. People in the community saw it when this came out. Everybody was like, there's no way that he can ever come up with a better concept. And then he came out with the King and Queen. Before this sculpture, there was the Bad Blood Predator, who's got this amazing elaborate pose as well. But yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the statues that really showed the community, the collecting community, the model kit community, the range that Narin has, the complexity that he can bring to a sculpture. It really showed his worth as a sculptor, as a designer, as a character creator. It just, you know, there's really nothing on the market today that can compete with, like, pose wise, detail wise, with a sculpture like this. Really, a Sideshow, an XM or a Prime 1 just do not compete with a Narin sculpture. Obviously, you know, these companies have the ability to release bigger scale statues, but in terms of detail and in terms of poses, accessories, they don't even come close to what Narin can bring to the table. Like, as you can see, this is the base, and for the people who are familiar with Narin's work, can already see that this is the Hellbreed Predator, where you have the upper body and the head of a Predalien, and on top of that there's this predator that's trying to kill it. But yeah, it's like, this is one of his most elaborate, like I said, one of the most elaborate statues he's ever done. The detail is insane. The kind of craftsmanship that he put into this is just super unique. Like, you can see the spine of the Predalien, a very unique design. This is not a movie version of the Predalien. This is like concept art from Narin himself, but, you know, always staying true to the source material, obviously, but with a spin, with his own unique ideas. So I would say that this is a concept art Predalien. Once we get further into the video and the unboxing, I'll show you guys the head and the arms, and you'll see him come to life. Here is the signature saying that this is not a recast, and that is always a good thing. That's always one way to tell that you're not dealing with a recast. I think this is like solid resin. It's heavy, it's big, as you can see. Like, this is again like a huge statue again. Like, we've did the Valdez, and we did the Ruzex, we did Savage Rev Gun, all big statues. In terms of scale, the Predator itself is a little bit smaller than the other statues that we've reviewed. I would say that he's closer to Stan in size, but because it's a very elaborate pose, he's standing on top of the shoulder of the Predalien, and he's moving. There's movement in the sculpture, which makes it very big, very you know, wide, I would say. But in terms of body size, I would say that the Predator in this sculpture is a little bit smaller, but we'll do a comparison once we get everything unpacked, yeah, so you guys can see the difference. Messing around with my autofocus, which is again giving me hell. Let's see if we can fix that. Why is it not auto-focusing? There we go. That's better. There we go. All right. Let me see. I would say that this is probably very likely that this is the head sculpt. You know, Narin does always such a good job packing everything. I don't think I've ever had breakages or issues with his with the way he ships the statues. I'm always surprised to see like people doing review videos of a Prime One or Sideshow or XM Studio piece, and then it arrives broken, and then I'm like, these companies have like huge amount of money invested in their packaging. They have like super elaborate straps around their very fancy styrofoam, extremely detailed cutouts of every part, and it still arrives broken. And then Narin does like a super elaborate statue, lots of detail, and nothing ever gets broken. And he does only styrofoam and bubble wrap. I'm always surprised that how can you pay $800 for shipping on such a super super expensive statue, and then it arrives broken. I just never understand it, how these companies manage to do that. I mean, I guess maybe bubble wrap damages the paint. I don't know. I can't imagine that being the case. But if you would have like a super detailed styrofoam cutout, and you wrap the part in bubble wrap, and then you put it into the insert, it's never gonna move around. It's never gonna get damaged. It's just I never understood why they don't put more effort into finding better ways of packaging. And a guy like Narin, who's working from his garage probably, you know, who's doing this from home, just, you know, always gets good results in his shipping. I've never had a broken piece, and I'm probably gonna get smacked in the face but with making that comment, so probably gonna find a broken piece in there somewhere, because that's how fate always decides to strike back. But that makes sense. But here is the head sculpt. As you can see, it's not a movie accurate version of the Predalien. It's his own interpretation, his own concept art. As you can see, super detailed. The mouth. Let me work on the autofocus. The teeth. Obviously, the insert for the inner mouth or the inner jaw, or what the aliens have, and then obviously the predator mandibles for the Predalien. As you can see, really up close, super detailed, like the spinal design or alien design, super detailed. Just, he took the Predalien design and took it to the next level. Just gave it like this queen like crest, head crest. I think that's what it's referred to when we're talking about alien head head things. I think they call it a crest or crown. But yeah, as you can see, super detailed. And it goes right here. It will require some buddy work or gap filling, but you know, I've did so many videos already where I kind of explained that these are kits and you need to work on them. So, but yeah, you can see that if you look at from the side, you can see that he's kind of screaming upwards, so you can already see the height that it's going for. It's already going up in its movement. He's jumping out of the water. He's being attacked by a predator, and the movement of the sculpt is kind of reflecting what's going on. It's just really beautiful. There's movement in the neck, so his body is moving, and then his neck is kind of curving the other way. Like, I just really like where that is going. It just always surprises me that Narin just takes his concepts to the next level and just does insane things with it. I'm just every time I get a sculpt, I'm just absolutely blown away by what he comes up with. And like, you can see from the side, the size of the head. It's like the length of my hand. That's kind of the size that you're working with, so you can see the size of the Predalien. There we go. Oh wow. It comes with a manual that is probably for the dreadlocks, and probably instructions on how to assemble him. But there's also for this part there is a name tag or name plaque, which is metal, which is amazing. Hellbreed. I really like this. Just another, another piece that just gives authenticity to these model kits. Like, he just takes his model kits to the next level. He makes them unique, really pieces of art, not just model kit that gets 3D printed or whatever. He just puts his heart and soul into it, and he goes the extra mile by providing like a plaque that you could put here. Just another thing making this like a unique piece of art, and just really like that type of detail. I wish he had kind of these things on all of his statues, but I can understand that making these are embroiled, if that's the correct term, where the letters are 3D or they're coming out, so the black part is lower than the silver letters. I think that's embroiled. I'm not sure that's the correct term, but so these have to be made in some kind of factory. I don't think you can produce these at home. These are laser cut. They have to be engraved or imprinted or whatever they do to make it look like this. So I can understand that he doesn't want to do this kind of process with all of his stuff. I can understand that there's a price tag attached to getting these made. But I kind of wish that he would do this more often, kind of giving that real Narin authenticity, basically. But yeah, these are important. Don't lose these, because I probably think that if you're gonna lose it, you might not be able to get it replaced. I don't know. Here, the art print. I'm getting a collection of these now, so I can probably put them in a frame or something. But again, real Narin authenticity. And then we have like the manual, so you can see which part goes where. Kind of like it, especially this comes in handy for the dreadlocks and for the fingers, because as you can see, the here's one of the arms for the Predalien, and all of the fingers are individually placed. So it's kind of good to have like a reference guide or like an instruction manual. Here you can see, kind of neat to have that. And obviously for these parts, for the upper lower jaw, but for the dreadlocks, it's just really really handy. I guess you can kind of decide where you want the dreads, so you can kind of you know, give it your own kind of spin on it. The dreadlocks also convey movement, and you can kind of play around with that. There's no set way in how these things go together, but you can play around with it, make it look like it's moving one way or another. But yeah, the dreadlocks in this sculpture convey movement, and going with the theme. So you kind of have to decide which way you want to have them flowing. Man, Narin must go through a lot of bubble wrap, man, every time that he comes out with a new sculpture. This is one of the arms. That's good. I can kind of show you how the Predalien comes together. You see, man, like super detailed with your typical Narin kind of orange, kind of resin. Kind of feels in the same vein as the other statues. Super highly detailed. Like you've got the hardened exoskeleton from the aliens, and then you got kind of this muscle tissue, kind of reflecting like the predator side of the Predalien, which really sets it apart from other aliens. Just having that exoskeleton, and then the fleshy bits, I would say, the soft kind of bits, reflecting more of the predator in the hand as well. What could this be? This could also be a predator leg, or it could be the other arm. There's so many parts. But yeah, I keep buying statues, and my list of things to paint just keeps increasing and increasing. I guess that's good for like making YouTube content and live streaming. That'll give me something to do for the next upcoming few years, I guess. If you count that finishing a project like this will take up to 6 to 8 weeks if you like dedicate yourself every free time that you have. 6 to 8 weeks, maybe longer. 8 to 10 weeks, I'm not sure, but it'll give me something to do for a very, very long time, and I intend to do that as well. Like the reason why I'm collecting these is so that I can paint them, do videos on them, do live streams, and just having that work piled up is not such a bad idea after all. It just gives me something to do in the future. And for now, just doing unboxing videos and doing you know, pinning and gap filling and prepping before we start painting. I really want to get into painting, but with the recent health scare issue, kind of was just took me out of the game again. Like something comes up, as you can see, like this is the arm, guys. Sorry, I'm rambling on. Should be sticking to the parts. Again, just like this arm, you know, exactly resembles the other arm. perfect condition goes right here. As you can see, there's a little bit of gap, so I'll need to have to fill up this gap right here with some putty, with some clay, whatever, to make that go seamlessly. Right here, I can't attach the other arm yet because his shoulder goes right here, and on top of, attached to the shoulder is the arm, so I'll have to find the shoulder first. I think that this could be the shoulder, looking at the shape. Man, after getting a Narin sculpt, I always have like tons and tons of extra bubble wrap that I give to my wife, because my wife has like a small hobby business, or hobby related business. She sends a lot of packages, so it gets reused, recycled, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I've got tons and tons of bubble wrap. There we go. This is the shoulder. As you can see, this is the other shoulder. So again, like, you got some uniformity, if that's the correct term, going on right here. So this goes right here. As you can see, like, oh, that was out of frame. It goes right here. Again, a little bit of a gap, but that's to be expected. And then his arm goes like that, and that is it looks kind of like, that's what I'm talking about when conveying movement in a sculpture. He's like he's pretty big in terms of dimensions. He's, you know, so his scale might be a little bit different than the other ones, but in terms of size, he's massive. I'll do a comparison once I get everything unpacked. But yeah, this goes like that. This is probably not gonna hold. This is probably gonna fall off. Be really careful. It's kind of hanging, but yeah, this will need to get pinned and glued on. Don't think that this hand is grabbing onto anything, but it's solid resin, so it's kind of heavy, so it needs to get pinned and glued, and then it also needs to get filled up. So this is not going to give me any issues if I pin it and glue it before painting. It's not going to give me a lot of issues, so that is not really a problem. But as you can see, right here is a keyhole, which is for one of the feet of the Predator. So while we're doing this, I can unpack this leg, this Predator leg. I'll show you guys. Now it's gonna get super high. This guy is really tall. There is the Predator leg. Super detail, like super detail. Like, we've come to expect this from Narin, but it's a surprise every time that all of his sculpts are super detailed. The armor super detailed. Like, again, the metal parts have like a structure to them. so that it looks like aged metal, aged armor. And this hand goes right here. So you can see the complexity of the sculpt is taking shape. So this arm is holding on to that leg, and that leg is gonna key into the body, and the other leg is standing on top of this. So it's a very elaborate, very complex kind of sculpt. It will require a lot of careful pinning, careful planning on what to glue, what to magnetize, if at all. Probably gonna glue everything. Just want to make sure that no part is ever gonna fall off. I'm not gonna sell any of these. Unless I get like a second one, or but for now, if I have just one, it's for me. So I'm never gonna sell them. I hope that one day when I'm very old, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna give these to my kids or my grandkids, and they can enjoy them, and they can accumulate some kind of worth or wealth, and these become very rare and very very expensive, so that at some point some relative is gonna sell these, or just keep them in the family, enjoy them. That's kind of the plan. I do not intend to sell any of these. If I go broke, I'm not gonna sell them. If I have to sell my house, I'm never gonna sell them. That's kind of the idea. So that's always kind of the reason behind why I pin them and glue them, and I don't have to worry about shipping these unless I'm doing something for a client. But as long as I got just one, it's for me. So yeah, but it's just, this is one of the most elaborate, the most complicated statues that I've seen from Narin. It's gonna require a lot of planning, a lot of careful consideration on when to glue something, before painting or after painting. Then you have to kind of consider where you want to where you want to glue parts. Is it going to affect the paint? But as you can see, man, if you would just glue everything together, you might have difficulties reaching certain areas. So you really have to plan this stuff out. But as you can see from the hand, almost has like a solid connection. Well, as I say, it probably needs some sanding a little bit so that it makes it connects 100%. But yeah, it's kind of like a difficult decision on where to glue something or to pin it, and just accept the fact that there's a seam line or something like that. I do intend to kind of hide all my seam lines, but sometimes it's unavoidable. I mean, the statue collecting community knows that if you buy a Sideshow piece or whatever, like a Prime 1 or XM or whatever company you buy from, if you buy like a pre-painted statue, you always have to deal with seam lines. And because it's pre-painted by a factory, by a company, there's really nothing that you can do about getting rid of that. that seam line. And I do have a broken part. And I was worried about that because it was kind of a flimsy part, but I'll show you guys in a minute. But nothing game breaking. I don't have to contact Narin for a replacement part or anything like that, but or maybe it's intended to be. I don't think so. No, okay. So this is a blade. It's a Jesus Christ. It's a very long blade. This is one of the blades that's attached to the Predator's arm. As you can see the size of that, and here it kind of broke off. Not a huge deal. It's something to take into consideration. I'm probably gonna pin it to give it a little bit more strength. It's probably a weak point in the sculpt, but it's okay. Not really bummed out about that, but just something to take into consideration. As you can see, let the camera focus. It's got a very mechanical kind of design to it. Have to be careful that I don't bump the arm. It's got a very mechanical kind of look to it. Like it was kind of fabricated by a Predator and maybe kind of built from scratch or something, but really like the design. You can go tons of different directions with this. I'm kind of old school when it comes to armor and weapons. I kind of like the silver, kind of like the gold, the bronze, like the really metallic kind of looks. Personally, I don't really like painting like a blue metallic or a red metallic. I just don't have enough experience with making that look like real metal. So I kind of like the old school kind of silver and gold. Some of the rust effects I really like, but as you can see, like you can go a ton of different ways with this, because this looks like tubing. Kind of looks like decoration on like a weapon or something like that. Doesn't really show that it has any function or something. It's not like a weapon that looks to be like being machinery. It kind of looks like decoration, so you can go like 100 different ways. But yeah, be careful with that part. It's fragile. Here's another part. I think this is it looks like a leg, but there we go. I'm already saving up money for the King and Queen, and as I'm saying this, I saw a one of my friends from the community pointed me out that there is a Narin P1 second edition for sale, which I always missed out on buying that. I really want that, but I just bought this. So, and then the day that this arrived for me yesterday, I got that message saying that like there's a P1 available on one of the Facebook groups. Are you interested? I'm like, God damn it! I just spent the money on the Hellbreed. If I'd known it sooner, I would have bought the P1 first, and then buy this, and then the King and Queen. But I'll probably have to accept the fact that I'm not gonna get the P1 this time again. So I'm kind of aiming for the King and Queen. which is going to be super elaborate as well, and it's going to be probably twice as elaborate as this, twice as big probably. But yeah, this is the other foot that goes. I think, does it go like this? Yeah, it goes like that. Already you can see it kind of take shape, where like you can already see kind of like the direction that it wants to go in. Super elaborate. Like, you can see that there's like the torso is gonna come up right here. Then you have the arms that are kind of in an attack mode. Yeah, but it's like, then you have this arm right here. Don't think I can make it stick right there. And it's super heavy. It's getting super heavy. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. Like, look at the size of my hand. That's what we're... I mean, it's also a very deep statue. It's like a super 3D kind of thing. Like, you look at all the movement in the sculpt. It's super dynamic. It's super deep. It's got this space in between right here. It's like... it's, if you look at from the front, it's super deep. It's got all these layers of stuff going on. Like, you have like the arm and the leg right here in the front, and then you got like a layer of the chest and the head being a layer by itself with the mandibles coming out. So you're not even getting the whole picture yet. Every layer that it has to go, that it has something unique going on. Like, it's super deep. Like, it's almost like it's built in stages, or I don't know. Like, you could see, like, in the skin, there's wrinkles in the skin. Even if it kind of looks to be smooth, it's got these wrinkles. It's got these kind of imperfections in the skin, just like the Predator. Like, these super wrinkly areas that kind of convey age. And I mean, if you look at it, like, there's no bubbles, there's no seam lines, or there's no mold lines, I would say. No mold lines from the casting process, no bubbles, no flash, only a little bit of the white residue. It's probably mold release, which they spray on to make sure that the mold doesn't stick to the resin when you take it out. You kind of have to do that because you're going to destroy your mold otherwise. So that's the only thing, but you have to wash it before you're going to paint it anyways. The white stuff is very normal. But like, if you look at like a size comparison, like the Predalien is like a lot bigger than the Predator. If you look at the size of his foot compared to like the shoulder of the Predalien, and if you look at like the hand, it's got a super big hand compared to the feet of the Predator. Or the Predalien rather is older, he's already been through something, because as the Predalien kind of grows, he becomes bigger. Like the one in the movie, he was like a couple days old, so he wasn't that big but already then he was the size of the Predator. But But as he grows older, they kind of grow to the size more closer, not as close, but closer to a queen than a warrior. So you can already tell, like by the size comparison, that we're dealing with a very strong, very experienced kind of Predalien, and already the head crest also kind of conveys that message, kind of like we're dealing with like a full-grown Predalien or close to a full-grown Predalien. I mean, I think that with the king and queen, you're kind of having like a companion piece, because on the one hand, you have one predator that's fighting a Predalien, and then on the other sculpture is like a predator fighting an alien queen. So in that regard, they're kind of both companion pieces. I wish that maybe he would do one more with just a warrior or something like that. I know there's a Narin sculpt out there that has like a predator fighting like a dog alien that comes out of the water, which also kind of resembles this kind of concept where alien versus predator battles. Kind of more like a diorama than like one statue. But I kind of wish that he would do like a new kind of sculpture with a predator fighting an alien warrior. So you have like a warrior, a Predalien, and then the queen or something like that, or a royal guard or something in the veins of that. I know that this is the torso, so we're gonna wait, save that for last. And these are the dreadlocks. These are the dreadlocks. The inner mouth right here. Predalien inner mouth, and then you got the fingers, and there's probably, yeah, and the predator mandibles as well, and the Predalien mandibles. All right, man, that's a lot of bubble wrap. Jesus Christ. Let's do the small part first. Oh, right, that's part of his armor. I saw that on a photo. I didn't know what it was, but part of his armor is separate. I have to be careful that I don't break it. Right. This is part of the predator armor that goes onto his body, so it's kind of like this metal type, or not really fabric. It's more like a metal kind of thing, but kind of cool. Goes onto his body. I'll show you guys when I unpack the torso. And what is this? This is for the Predalien. All right, these are the things that come out of their back. I don't know what they're called, officially called. I've heard smokestacks, but they're kind of more like back spines, I would say. Yeah, spines, or kind of like that go. You know what? Let me get Lazy Susan. Right here on the back you have these holes. I think because these are the smaller ones, they go like that, and you can kind of play around with their movement a little bit like that. Just another kind of detail. Man, this This statue is gonna a lot of pinning, a lot of gluing. Yeah, these are the bigger ones. I think these go on top. So you got the small ones. Hello. Yeah, there we go. So you got the small ones, and then you got the big one. They go like that. And you can kind of play around. You can go under the arm. You can kind of switch it up that it looks like more aggressive, give it more depth, give it more size, I would say. But yeah. This is an arm. What is this? What is this? This should be a weapon with a hand. That's my guess. Can't really see what it is, but I think it's the weapon, the hand and the weapon, like a knife, dagger. So much bubble wrap. I feel so sorry for the person that has to pack all of these. It's taped and bubble wrapped, and then there's more tape and more bubble wrap. Like, honestly, like, delivery services are just horrible these days. Like, the quality in delivery has been going down for years and years, or maybe it was always terrible, I don't know. But the way that they take care of your package just requires much more much more care in packing stuff like this. There we go, the hand with the knife or the dagger. This is a really cool looking kind of weapon. Like so, he's got this blade on the one arm, and then he's got the dagger in the other. Like that Predalien is gonna get messed up, but yeah, he's not messing around. Like, I like how kind of Narin kind of designed it. It looks like you could use the grip as a weapon as well. You could, if you bash this into somebody's skull, you cut it in half, basically. Kind of like that idea, being like the blade being deadly, as well as the handle, like the grip. And again, like the super detailed skin, the nails, super detailed. And then we have like the arms and the torso left. And I think I'm gonna start the pinning process on Monday. It'll give me some content for the YouTube people as well. But Jesus Christ, man, the detail. It's just, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Veins, wrinkles, bumps, the crocodile skin. This guy, man. This guy. Like, there we go. minimalistic kind of armor. Kind of like it. Just, if I'm going old school with it, just silver and gold. Kind of making maybe copper, but nothing too complicated. And all the effect and all the details gonna go into the skin, which is kind of challenging. I've been kind of behind the scenes. I've been kind of practicing kind of different techniques. You know, stippling, washing, airbrushing, kind of combining all sorts of techniques to see what I really like. I mean, I know that everybody wants to paint like Joe Dunaway. He's an absolute master. There's no discussion. Joe is probably the best Narin Predator painter in the hobby right now. Everybody wants to learn how to paint like that guy. You're never gonna get to that level. It's just, by the time you catch up, he's already on the next level. Like, so you really kind of have to look at what other people have done and kind of decide, okay, that's something that I would like to learn, and then learn that technique. But you're never gonna copy somebody's work. It's never gonna happen. You know, you're a different person. You have different skill sets. Your brain is wired differently. So you have to kind of practice what works for you. And kind of, you know, you can mimic kind of colors from other painters and see, okay, I like that color combination. But you have to really make it your own. And you have to practice. So, you know, you have to kind of find your technique. Kind of what works for you, because somebody else can show you how to do something and you can kind of really absorb that information and know what the technique requires. But then there's a huge difference between knowing how to do something and then actually doing something. Like, I've watched like a ton of videos on different techniques, and I followed Stan Winston School of Arts classes where people just paint by brush, paint by airbrush, and then I see what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. I understand how they do it, how they, you know, the steps make sense to me. But then when I go try and copy that exact thing, it just looks completely different. It's because of material difference, paint difference, humidity can be a factor, your hand movements. You know, you can put two guys together, tell them to use the same paint, the same brushes, and the same sculpture, and it's gonna look completely different. So you really gotta, you know, practice, find techniques that work for you. You know, try techniques that don't work for you. You know, practice with them. See, okay, this is not the way to go. So kind of knowing, you know, what to kind of exclude from your kind of skill set, and stick to what works. You know, that would be the best advice that I could kind of give you, is kind of like practice, see what works and see what doesn't work. I mean, I've gone 100 different ways, and I've got one sculpture, a Narin chopper that I painted a while back. It's standing right above me on a shelf, and I did something to it, and I really, really, really like the skin detail in it. The skin is like it's got speckles on it. It's got like, you know, really tiny imperfections painted under the top layer. And for the life of me, I cannot reproduce it. I know how I did it. I just cannot do it again. Like, it's so weird. Um, you know, it's because I don't remember the color or the color combination that I've used, or like the amount of water that I put with the color, and you know, all these things. Like, you gotta practice, gotta practice, gotta practice, see what works, and sometimes you have to just go and try something, and sometimes something works out completely different, but it looks excellent, and sometimes you're going super advanced and it doesn't look that good, or you know, it's hard, man. It's hard. Like, it's super, like, looking at a sculpture like this, for example, it's super intimidating because you don't want to start something and then discover that you kind of made it look bad, or you're not happy with it and you have to strip the paint, and stripping paint from like a resin like this is super hard. Like, there's no easy way to go about it. uh, you know, depending on what part of the world that you're living in, some materials might be easier to get than others. But for me, getting that super aggressive stuff that I need to strip paint is impossible for me, because that type of material is outlawed in my country. It's deemed too of aggressive chemical to be sold to a person. So I have to deal with all sorts of issues. So I don't want to start something and then halfway through decide, oh, it looks terrible. So it can be like super intimidating to start something like this. Uh, but you have to start somewhere, and that's why I always decide, let's get it built, let's get it pinned, uh, kind of maybe go the extra mile, and after pinning and prepping, um, you know, fill the gaps and prime it. Take that step, and then think about, okay, what am I gonna do with the skin? Where I'm gonna start? The skin, always on a Predator. My advice would be to start with the skin. You know, work in stages, and sometimes some people do it like in days. Some people do it in weeks. Some people do it in months. Um, but yeah, work in stages if you find this stuff kind of intimidating. But anyways, I'm rambling on. Let's go over this kind of hand. I like that it's got like this uh, brass knuckles kind of thing. Like, he's got sort of like brass knuckles, and then he's got these like a power glove, or if he punches you in the face with this, you're kind of dead, man. You like, have like this weapon that goes right here. Look at the size of that weapon compared to his hand. So that's what we're kind of working with right here. Super elaborate. Again, like, it really requires kind of like thinking about, yeah, I really gotta like glue this, pin this, because you know, it really requires kind of like thinking ahead of where you want to go with it, because it's gonna get intense when you start working on this. And hopefully I can kind of start working on it on Monday. I'm gonna do, if I feel up to it, I'm gonna do a live stream where I'll be kind of pinning and prepping kind of this model. Hopefully take it a step further and even go into the gap filling and stuff like that. Kind of give it that readiness to paint. Yeah, the painting of statues is gonna come. Don't worry, guys. But just a lot of things have happened with like my recent health scare kind of thing. Like, that really just really just kind of scared me, and I really had to get mentally. I had to get back to kind of feeling well and up to it, and but yeah, like, see, having a new Narin statue always kind of motivates me back into the hobby, back into the thing. So hopefully this will give me the extra kind of motivation I really needed to get out my butt and start painting on camera. You know, I've been painting off camera, but I need to get painting on camera so that I can show you guys what I'm working on and how to do certain things, and kind of teach you guys techniques and learn from you guys as well. Like, you know, just share with the hobby and with the community. Man, it's super packed, super well. It's the torso. I really like this. The face sculpt's got something really unique. Something like this, the torso. Like, as you can see, I was showing you guys earlier, like the armor bit, and I think that it goes like that. It goes onto the back, giving him even more depth and more kind of giving him even more kind of a dynamic kind of thing going on. But yeah, let's go over kind of. He's got a bone necklace. What kind of looks like this could be like an alien tail, or it could be from a face hugger. I'm not sure. It's kind of long if you look at it. It goes all the way around, several layers. It goes underneath his armor right here, which is sculpted on top of it, and then it comes back under it right here. So got that bone necklace, which a lot of Narin Predators do have. Like, they have a bone necklace or something kind of decorating their neck. Then the shoulder armor, super detailed again, with the metal having like a structure to it, or like a surface to it, so to make it look like real metal, kind of like a button kind of mechanical kind of thing going on right there. And this arm goes here, and there's almost no seam line. I say almost, but there is a really tiny one right there. I bet that if you pin this right and you put primer on it, you're never gonna see it. That's how good the fit. It's super tiny, but it is there. But if you put primer on it, you're never gonna see it. But here again, like with the detail, he's got a flat piece of armor right here, and then underneath that there is like what looks like damaged metal. It's got again like an age kind of structure to it, with the pins, and then held with straps. And then underneath that, he went for a different kind of way to strap the armor around him, kind of giving that bone kind of structure. But I think that is intended to be metal shaped like bone. He doesn't have like a shoulder cannon. You could, I think that this could be intended, or you could customize it and give it like a shoulder weapon. Maybe that is what the circle is for. I don't know. Maybe he did that deliberately, or it's just turned out that way. But again, with the different kind of fabrics, the different kind of materials that you can go crazy with when you're painting it, you can make it look like leather. You can make it look like probably rope, or just kind of something like a different type of fabric. You can go nuts with different colors. If you look at like look at the detail on the waist. Super elaborate, man. This guy, he doesn't have a lot of armor, but the armor that he does have is super detailed. You look at that. Super detailed. All the way around. Again, fabric, different fabric, or maybe kind of the same type of fabric but a different layer. Then a strap. And then again, like if you look at that. That is wrinkled fabric. That is a little less wrinkled fabric. And then you got the metal on the back. Come on, focus. Again with the H kind of metal, kind of the stamped metal, or the showing the age. Just a simple dry brush will just make this kind of super nice. Here again, like, it looks like it's aged, it's damaged. Here again, the fabric giving really that kind of unique kind of look, that ripped fabric, like what leather does when it's used in battle, or when it's being weathered. Like, look at all the different type of layers that's holding his armor. And then you have obviously the skin. So if you go up close, you can really see little wrinkles, imperfections in the skin. There we go. And then as we go to the back, you can see the wrinkling is becoming more. So it kind of goes really heavily into that crocodile, that lizard kind of reptilian skin kind of thing. With the bumps. And then like a funny kind of like skull right here. Yeah, this arm goes right here. There is a little bit of a seam line. It's not much. It's super tiny. I bet if you put primer on it again, like, you're never gonna see it. It kind of like, because his armor is kind of on top of his skin, so it makes sense for there to be like shadow and kind of like a gap or a separation between the two materials. Let's see if we can make him stand, but so I'll have to be really careful. We got him standing on top of the Predalien, and then this arm goes right here. Hopefully I can. There we go. And then that arm. Don't think that's gonna stick. Oh, it is. Wow. And then that hand, is that gonna stick? It is. Wow. Okay, so being super careful. Look at the depth of that statue. Look at the dynamic pose. And then you have like the mandibles that you have to attach. Then you have the dreadlocks that you have to attach separately. Then you have like the weapon, which I'm not gonna attempt to kind of attach because I don't want to put any more weight on that. And you have this thing that you can put on his armor. So there's even more pieces coming onto that. And then you have like in the back, you have this hand coming up with fingers. So just looking at like how elaborate, how complicated, how dynamic this kind of pose. I mean, in terms of size, man, it just the Predator might in scale might be a little bit small. It's probably true 1/6 scale if you from the Predator, but the height of this statue just, you know, doesn't really, you don't really care about the scale. It's just it's super large. Like, this is my hand. Look, Can Rebel. That's how big it is. So yeah, I mean, and on top of that, there's like this weapon, and then the dreadlocks, obviously, also giving like this kind of idea of movement. And yeah, look at that. That is freaking amazing. And super detailed. Super detailed. I mean, you also have like the mandibles for the Predalien, which are in this bag. I'm not sure. I should probably just attach those, glue those. It doesn't seem like it's gonna obstruct the painting, so we'll see. But yeah, this statue definitely requires pinning, gluing. Not gonna magnetize because, like I said, this is my personal kind of statue. But he's super fit. Like, he's held together perfectly. It will require some wiggling around when you're kind of fitting this together, because you're dealing with an arm that's got movement in it. You're dealing with the hand that's got movement in it. Then you have this connection point is movement. This is movement, so it really will require, like, I'll have to kind of be really kind of careful how I put this together. But so far it just really looks really nice. Yeah, this was worth every penny, like, no doubt. Amazing piece. So for this kind of episode, for this kind of video. I wanna like thank you guys for watching. Next part will be kind of like pinning and kind of prepping the model. Hopefully I can do that on live streaming on Twitch. If you can't catch me on Twitch live, I'll upload it to YouTube, kind of edit it for you guys and make it a little bit more digestible, because these videos go on for hours, and you know, a lot of people don't have the patience or the time to kind of binge watch like a 3-hour video of me kind of drilling holes into a model. But I'll try my best to kind of cut it down to more digestible content. But yeah, so far, man, I like if you're a Predator and an Alien fan and you're a painter or you want to learn how to paint, kind of look up Narin Studio on Facebook. Narin prefers to do business through Facebook. He's a 100% trusted guy. Don't have to worry about getting scammed. The guy's legit. He's well respected in the community. He's got like a huge following of people who love his stuff. So if you're interested, go check out Narin on Facebook, Narin Studio. But yeah, like next video, I'll do some prepping on this sculpture, kind of give you guys a much more a better view of all the parts and how they go together, and kind of go into detail without me having to worry about not shaking kind of like the desk, because these pieces are not attached permanently, so they're kind of fragile. So, but yeah, for now, I want to thank everybody for watching. Stay tuned for the next part, and see you soon, guys. Thanks.